welcome to my playthrough of Metroid. So I've already done a playthrough of Zelda, and now I'm going to do one of this. I'm actually a little torn on what other games I might want to do on here, because really, honestly, the possibilities are endless. There are a lot of old games like this that I'm good at, but there's also some, like in the 16-bit era, that I am also somewhat decent at, like Mega Man. I can pretty much play through any of the first 5 Mega Man games. Unfortunately, I never got Mega Man 6 as a kid, so I didn't really ever learn how to play that one. It's funny how often if you lack experience from your childhood with a game, you're just not as good at it. Even when I practice on games that have recently come out, I still never feel like I reached the same level of skill that I would have as a kid. And this is another game that I played a lot of as a kid. Although, to be fair, I do remember not having the easiest time finding my way around, because this game is, for its time, was fairly large. Okay, the kitty's in the background meowing, so if there's some awkward pauses or weird silence, then sorry about that. But yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I didn't have the best time finding my way around this game as a kid. I would always find the missiles and then the long beam. And after that, I just kind of, I don't even remember. But hey, oh well. This game was always pretty fun, though. This is another example of a game, though, that a lot of people today will say is really not very great. And again, I can understand a lot more with this one than I can with Zelda, because this game really doesn't give you much to go on. If you bought it back in the day, then you got the instruction manual, and back in the day, instruction manuals actually told a lot about what to do in a game. And hypothetically, if you took out a piece of paper and drew a map, it wouldn't take very long to fill it out. Right now, we've already seen about 1/3 of Brinstar, which is the first world in the game. So these are the missiles. They are the only item that you'll be able to pick up when you start the game, aside from the Morph Ball, which back then was called Mari. M-A-R-U space M-A-R-I. I don't know why I remember that. But anyway, once again, because I'm old, it's funny how I can remember things from, 30 years ago, and yet I can't remember what I even did yesterday. I guess that's how memory works, though. But anyway, once you have the missiles, you will be able to open red doors. They take 5 missiles to destroy, which, even as a kid, I remember sort of being weirded out by the idea of a bubble, or what appears to be a bubble, being durable enough to withstand gunfire or missile fire. I actually went through a phase, also as a kid, where I drew what I called missile ships, which are basically spaceships shaped like the missiles in this game. But I would always have so much fun giving little, accessories to them, like little cannons on the side that fire in a certain direction. I was always imagining, what would it be like to fight this thing in a video game? How would you avoid it? Yeah, with just the right rhythm, you can actually kill these things pretty easily, but a lot of it is just about the rhythm, taking advantage of the freeze and then making sure you hit them on the soonest possible frame before they can start moving again. Anyway, so that power-up that we just picked up was called the Long Beam, and it enables you to shoot all the way across the screen instead of your bullets disappearing a few inches from in front of you. So even though it's not technically required to beat the game, it's still very useful. useful it is fundamentally, because how often are you able to hit enemies from clear across the screen? Once you get certain other weapons in the game, you'll find that the gun becomes not quite as useful as it used to be, but we'll talk more about that when we get there. And it won't take long, I'll tell you that. This is another game that I can beat in about an hour. I think my best time is like 50 minutes. Oh shit. People say that it's really complicated to find your way around, but I never thought it was that complicated. It's basically just a big letter H, where the left side is blue and the right side is yellow, and they're connected by that one corridor. And then on the blue side you have 3 places going to the left, 3 hallways. The top goes to Tyrian, the bottom goes to Grade, and the middle goes to the long beam. And then on the right you also have 3 passageways, which this one in the middle I'm about to go into goes to bombs and the ice beam. The top one goes to the Varia suit, an energy tank, and another missile. And the bottom one goes to your first missile, and eventually to Norfair, and that's it. That's literally all there is. Yeah, these guys are really fun to hit, especially from down, above, or below. Well, I guess only below, because you can't shoot down in this game, but yeah, because of how they're wider than they are tall, it just looks like the bullets really hurt them more when it's coming from the long side. So what I meant earlier when I said there was sort of like grinding in this game is that when you get the missiles, you can use them on the red door, but then you'll be out of missiles, and 5 is going to be the most you can hold for a while. But eventually you're going to come into another red door if you want to get more power-ups. And the only way to get more missiles is to kill enemies for them and hope that they drop them. But there are times when I play this game and I swear it's like getting the enemies to drop missiles is like pulling teeth. And if you don't get them before you get there, you have to use the enemies that are actually in the room to grind your missiles off of. And then it just feels like it takes forever, and it's so annoying. So your best bet is, instead of, rather than rushing through, which is what I tend to do a lot of the time, that's probably why I don't get the missiles half the time. But, you know, if you take your time and actually kill some of the waivers and other stuff in here on the way, which waivers are those enemies that fly in a wavy pattern, but yeah, then you're more likely to get your 5 missiles stocked up before you get to the next red door. So we're coming up on an energy tank here. This will enable us... Wow, did you see that? That was kind of groovy. Well, dang it, it was groovy until like 2 seconds later. Anyway, this will give us a higher max health so that we can take more damage. And it also tops you off. So now we have 199 health instead of 99. So that'll be pretty useful, especially in some of the later areas where we start to take more damage. The damage you take from enemies in this game depends on what area you are in, regardless of what monster you're getting hit by. They will always do 8 damage here in Brinstar. In Norfair, which is the lower fire area, they do, I think, 12, maybe 10, but it might be 12. And in Grade's Hideout, I believe they do 12 also, so maybe it's 10 in Norfair and 12 in Grade. In Ridley's Hideout, they do a lot more, like 24 or something like that. So by the time you get there, you're going to want to start being really careful. There's nothing worse than waiting for zoomers to crawl along the ground. Once you get the high jump, you can kind of just jump over them, but anyway. So this is the bombs. This will enable us to lay bombs in morph ball form, and it's actually looks pretty epic when you kill a monster with one. Yeah, just blows them apart. So that's pretty cool. There we go, that's the rhythm right there. Whoops. Yeah, get him. So we're already got 2 of our missiles back. You'll basically need 3 drops to get your 5 missiles back because they each give you 2. So, yeah. Okay, that got disrupt energy, so we're gonna walk away from that. And same with him. The energy drops will usually refill you by 5, but if it's a larger enemy, sometimes the energy they drop will be worth 20. So, it's worth checking it out. You know, if you see them drop one and you're low on energy, definitely pick it up. Of course, I can't imagine why you wouldn't. So we're heading back through here. Now we're coming up on the ice beam pretty soon here, but yeah, I'm gonna grab that missile now. The lava, honestly, does not do terrible damage. Like, it feels like it would because of the sound it makes. It's very anxiety-inducing, but if you actually watch the number go down, it goes down pretty slow. So, yeah, like right there. You can also take advantage of it because it gives you invincibility frames. So maybe if you jump in the lava and jump back out, you can actually jump through an enemy that might have hit you otherwise. This is where the ice beam is, and this is probably the biggest example of what people would say, how was I supposed to know to do that? And to be fair, the game doesn't really telegraph it very much. You can just barely tell that the screen kind of, if you jump in that room, the screen moves up slightly. So I guess that's how you're supposed to know. I'm pretty sure I did figure that out as a kid. But when you're a kid, you know, you don't know what to do. You're probably just gonna go into Morph Ball and start laying bombs everywhere. So it's only a matter of time before you'd find it. It's the same thing in Zelda 1. Like, if you play a Zelda 1 randomizer, it will change the locations of the hidden caves that you have to bomb in that game. And, you know, you would think that people would consider that a total nightmare. And I guess it would be, but I've actually played through one of those and finished the game in about 5 hours. Because it really, you know, when all is said and done, it doesn't take that long to go grind out bombs by killing blue enemies and stuff. And it seems like it would take a while, but it's no worse than most modern games, the way they make you grind for stuff. So there's a little trick: if you bomb and then press yourself up into the air while you're standing, you can jump. You get a free jump even after you've blasted yourself into the air. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so now that we have all this stuff, we're pretty well equipped to head out to Norfair. But I'm going to make one more pit stop before we go. And I'm probably going to regret it, because if you don't have the high jump, this can be pretty hard. But here's the thing. I usually like to do Hideout 2, which is Ridley's Hideout, before I do Hideout 1. The reason for that is because Hideout 1 is really close to where the final area is. And so it's just more convenient to do Hideout 2 first. Even though I guess it's not really that far out of the way still. But remember how I said earlier that enemies do 24 damage in Hideout 2? Well, that's what we called it back in the day. That's what the instruction manual called it. It's Hideout 1, Hideout 2. So we really didn't know. But where I'm heading now is... oh shoot, that's right. I don't know why I passed the door like that, jeez.